So anyone is having any doubts? Yes. Does anyone have any doubts in the 2D geometry assignments?
No, sir.
Okay. So we'll start next. We'll be seeing the layers now. So can anyone tell me what are layers? Yes. Does anyone have any ideas what are layers? Many of you have used AutoCAD.
With the
It is
help of
used to
Yes, one by one.
layers, we can differentiate each parts of the drawing and give different properties to each line and each segment
Okay, we can.
by creating different layers
Okay.
in the same model.
Anything else?
Sir, can you repeat the question? I didn't understand.
What are layers?
Since my
What are layers? Is my question. Yes. Anyone else would like to answer?
sir, what are layers?
Yes.
Sir, these layers are used to control the drawing side.
Okay. Control the drawings. Anything else? Wants to say anything else? Okay. So layers are like creating a common parameter. Okay. So a common property. So what happens in this is that, let's say you are having a wall. Okay. So a wall may be of a similar type. So grouping all the similar things that you want for the ease of working. Okay. For your ease of working, you're grouping them together under one hierarchy, you can say. So under one layer, you can say. So if the name of the layer is wall layer, inside that you can have all your walls. Okay. So or a similar type of wall. So let's say 200 wall I am having. So all the 200 wall I can have under one category. Okay. So that is what is layers, and we group this for the ease of working. Okay. For our ease of working, we group them under them. So that is why we are using the layers. Now let's see layers. Okay. Now first, how to create layers we'll see. By default, you are having some of the layers over here. That is zeroth layer. This layer cannot be deleted. Okay. So this is by default. So whatever you create right now will be created in this layer. That is your zeroth layer. So if I create a circle, rectangle, and if you check its properties, what is the shortcut for opening properties? Control 1. Okay. So press Control 1, you get the properties panel over
Also,
here.
we
Yes.
can enter PR also, no?
Yeah, of course.
P. Yes.
This also can work. No problem with that.
Control one, right?
Yeah, Control 1.
Okay, okay.
Yes. So by pressing Control 1, you get the properties. Now the properties are of this rectangle. If you select this circle, it is showing combinedly because both is selected. So you can hold shift and you can remove this selection as well. And you can see the properties. Now properties over here, you can see what is the color. So color it says is bilayer. What is the layer? Zeroth layer, name of the layer. Line type is also bilayer. Line type scale is 1. Line weight is bilayer, transparency is also bilayer. So all the settings that you see over here are given by layer. Why this is saying by layer? Because when I open layer properties, this zeroth layer is having some of the properties like color is white, line type is continuous, line weight is default, transparency is 0. So all these things are for this layer. So that is why it is saying by layer. Now over here, of course, you have properties again. Okay, it is showing see by layer, by layer, by layer. If I select this circle, everything is by layer. But these are your override properties. So if I come over here and I make it red color, so you can see over here it is showing now red color. Now it, if you select this, immediately you can see this is not saying by layer. And if I go to properties, you can see color, it is not saying by layer because we have overridden the properties. So this is what we are going to look. First we'll see what are layers, and after that we'll see what are overridden properties. So let's start with layers. So I'll open a layer properties manager. To open that, of course, over here you have the layer properties, click on it, and a layer properties manager opens. Now by default you are having a zeroth layer. Okay, the name of the layer is 0, so that is why I'm calling this zeroth layer. Now how to create a new layers over here? To create new layers, you can press alt n, or you can come over here and select this. Okay, so I press alt n, a new layer is created. Now I can name this layers, let's say for now time being, name this layers by different colors. So let's say red. I'm creating another one, let's say blue. Enter, alt n. I'm saying green. Okay, so you can easily identify by the colors, so that is why I've given the names as such. So red, blue, green. I'll come over here, I'll see red, over here green, or you can pick from here index color is green, and from here also you can pick this is blue, so blue. Okay, so this colors you can pick. So index colors are given by default names. So if I click over here, these are your index colors from here, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and others are different colors and they are having their own numbers. If you want more colors, you can go to true colors and you can shift this. Okay, and from that you can pick it. Now you can give RGB as well. So I hope you know what is an RGB. Okay, RGB has a color. So you know that primary colors are red, green, blue, and by mixing them different colors are obtained. So what is the number of colors, intensity of colors we mix? So that numbers are over here. So if you want a particular color, you can google it, what is the RGB number of it, and you can just put over here the RGB number and you can get that perfect color. And otherwise you are having your color books as well, you can choose from here as well, but mostly the people don't go over there, from index colors only we mostly prefer. Okay, so right now I've given colors red, blue, green. Now how to create different things in different this. Okay, so what I will do is I'll delete this geometries. Now first I'm creating a rectangle. Now before creating rectangle, we have to check what is active layer. Now what is an active layer? Whatever layer is shown over here is an active layer, or in the layer properties manager, wherever you see status as a tick mark. Okay, this tick mark is known as active layer. So if I double click on the blue, you can see the tick mark changes over here, and you see the blue color in this panel also. Layers panel, you see the blue color. Now what it means by active is that whatever you try to create will be created in this particular blue layer only. So if I am creating a rectangle, the rectangle is created in this blue layer only. If I am creating a line, so line will be created in that layer only. So that is your active status of the layer. So if I come over here, I see green. Now the green is active layer. If you go to layer properties manager, you can see the tick mark is on the green. So if I create a circle, it will be created in the green color. Okay, or a green layer, not don't say color, by green layer it will be created. So similarly, I will come over here, I'll say red, and let's say I'll create a polygon. Okay, and the default layer is 0, so I'll create something geometry in this. Okay. So these are the different geometries created in different layers. Now we have some kind of conditions over here. So what are these conditions and what are the settings regarding the layers? Of course, you have a name over here. So if you want to rename this, you can press F2 and you can just simply rename the layers. Okay. So you can select this, press F2 and you can see you can rename the layer as you want. Okay. So let's say I say cyan color. Okay, I've changed the name of the layer and I'll change the color of this to cyan. Okay, and you can see the changes applied in this. Now coming back over here, we were talking about settings. Now what are the different settings? We have on and off settings, freeze and thaw settings, then we have lock settings, we have plot settings, then we have line weights, transparency, what is new viewport freeze, these things will be seen. Now first thing, on and off. Now what is on and off? So if you see over here, if I come and click on this turn on and off, a bulb symbol is there. So if I turn it off, you can see the green layer is not visible over here now. If I turn off the cyan layer, so you can see the elements created in the cyan layer are not visible. If I turn off the red, so you can see red layer is not visible. If I turn on, red is visible. So this is simple turn on and off of layer. That layer will not be visible in your model space. Okay, so this is your turn on and off. After that, you are having a freeze option. Okay, freeze and thaw. Freeze is the process of reducing the temperature. Thaw is of increasing the temperature. So if you remove an frozen food from your refrigerators, the process is known as thawing. So that is why freeze and thaw like this options are there. So if I press cyan color over here, you can see the objects are gone from this. So if I freeze it, so you can see I have freeze it. Now if I want to thaw it, I'll click over here and it has been thawed. So the cyan layer is back again. Same for the red. If I do it, you can see I cannot do two things. Okay, first is that when you are turning off the layer, it will ask you, this is your current layer. So zeroth layer right now, whatever I am creating is being created in the zeroth layer. So this layer is your current layer. So if I try to turn off my current layer, it gives me warning. Okay, of course it can turn off the layer, but it gives me always an warning that turn the current layer off. Objects that you create from now on will not be displayed in the drawing until you turn the layer back on. Okay, now I have turned this off and you can see if I am creating an arc over here, that's it, arc is created but you cannot see it because this layer is turned off. If I turn it on, you can see the arc is created. So that is why it gives a warning. So whenever there is a current layer being turned off, it will always give you a warning that should you turn it off or not. Okay, and the second thing is that you cannot freeze the current layer. So it says this layer cannot be frozen because it is the current layer. So always remember that the current layer can never be frozen. So if I go to red and if I try to freeze it, can you see this layer cannot be frozen because it is the current layer. So always remember that current layer can never be frozen. Any doubts or any questions up till here?
So, what is the difference between turning off and on the layer and freezing and thawing the layer?
Yes,
And so,
that is what we are going to discuss now. So what happens is that when you turn on and off the layers or the objects are still present in your window. Okay, that is your model space. How this happens now, I'll just show you. I'm turning off my red layer. Okay, of course it is current, no problem. And I'm turning off my, let's say, cyan layer. Okay, now what I think is that I have only these two things. Okay, that is the ellipse, that is your zeroth layer, and the circle that is in your green layer. This is what I think. Now if you want to move too many objects of this layers, what you will be doing? You have to select the objects first.
yes.
How you will be selecting if there are too many objects? A simple method.
All.
Control A, that is your select all.
Yes.
Yeah, but what happens over here? Actually I thought that the objects are hidden. Okay, when I turn off the layer, I thought that objects are hidden, so I'll make a move. Okay, by mistakenly you may not see this right now. Also you can see I'm not able to see the things. I'm just moving this aside. Okay, so I have just moved, when I'm thinking that I have just moved the green layer and the white layer, and by default all the layers that were there, red and cyan color, that I had turned off, should be over here only. But actually what happens is that, can you see, I turned it on and they are not present over here. They are actually present over here because they exist in the model space. Okay, even if they are turned off, they are not visible to you, they exist still in the model space. I hope that is clear. So again I'll show you. This time I'll turn off the zeroth layer and the green layer. Okay, so when I'm doing control A, just observe that, can you see some dots? That is your grip points. Okay,
Yes, sir.
that are of the hidden things that you turned off the layer. Of that turned off layer you can see. So by mistakenly what happens is that you press control A and you try to shift. So if I give move command, you can see the dots are gone, and immediately if you start to move it, you don't think that you have moved the turned off layers, but actually you have to turn it on. Okay, so you have actually moved it. When you
Sir, if we
freeze it, yes,
sir, if we turn off the layer, they won't visible on the screen, but they are
yeah,
present in the
model
right.
space. Yeah, they are
Okay.
present in the model space. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
not visible, but when I do a control E, you can see they are being selected. Okay, when you do this kind of selection, they are not being selected, but by mistakenly if you do control E, they are being selected.
Okay, sir.
Do they perform other functions also, right? Scaling and scaling up, scaling down, deleting and all, or just moving?
See, I have scaled it in the larger way, and I'll just turn on. Can you see it has been scaled? So it performs all the actions because you press control A. When it does control A, you are performing all the actions. Are you getting it?
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. So they are being selected as they are existing in the model space. And when you select an object, of course, it will be performing all the actions on it. But when you freeze it, okay, now this time I am freezing it. So I am freezing cyan layer and I'm freezing red layer. Okay, so you can see it is an current layer, so you cannot freeze it. So I'll just freeze the zeroth layer. Okay, and now what I do is I do control E and I move the things and I turn it, thaw it. Okay, can you see they still exist over here only? So that's the difference between the freeze and turn on and off.
Sir, can you repeat the freeze one?
Yeah, so currently you can see how they are. Okay, so I am going to freeze the cyan layer and this zeroth layer. So cyan layer I am going to freeze and this zeroth layer I am freezing it. Okay, now the same performing thing I am doing. Okay, over here also I am doing control E, but you can see that the object does not exist in the model space. Whatever the objects or the layers that we freeze does not exist over here now in the model space. Of course they are not visible also, and they does not exist also. In turn on and off, they exist over there. It is not visible, but they exist over there. In this freeze option, it does not exist only over there. So if I move it or copy it, whatever I do it, it will not copy the original. So I'm moving it to the side, and again I am thawing it. So you can see they still exist over here only. I hope this is clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the main difference between freeze and turn on and off layers. Now coming back, next we have lock option. So lock option is that it locks the layers and it does not allow you to make the changes to that layers. So if let's say I'm locking the layer over here, so the red layer, cyan and green, I have locked it. Okay, so if I make over here, you can see they are being highlighted over here as a selection, but if I give any command move, it is not applying to it. These layers have been locked. So when I hover over this, can you see a lock symbol over here? Also near the crosshair you can see lock symbol. So it says that this layer has been locked and you cannot perform any actions on this or any commands, modify commands on this. You cannot delete it also. Is that clear? So this is your lock option. Now you can see that this layers which has been locked has been somewhat transparent. Okay, it has become somewhat transparent. So this transparency is controlled from here. So if I drop down this layers option, you can see over here lock layer fading option is available. So if I fade it more, can you see over here? So from here lock layer fading is controlled, or the transparency you can see. So if I fade it more, you can see over here they are existing over here, but they are faded, and these are lock layers. So if I remove them from the lock, I will unlock it and you can see they are back to its normal visibility. So this is your locking of the layers.
Sir, when this can be able to use, sir?
Yes.
Sir, when we can use this, that lock freeze?
You don't want, let's say you don't want that changes should be made to your geometry. Okay, you think that this has been now perfect and I don't want to make any changes, or by mistakenly no changes should happen to this layer, then you can just lock it and then work on the other things that you feel free. Okay, so you can make selections, you can do anything to it, but nothing will happen to this layer because it has been locked. After that we have plotting options. Now what is plotting is that if I say don't plot it, okay, so I don't want cyan, green and red layer to be plot. I'll bring this back so you can see this. Okay, now if I go to layout options, so right now you may see that we can see the object over here in the layouts. I'll just delete this viewport, I'll create a new one. You might see that over here the objects exist. Okay, and there has been no changes to this. Okay, like this you may see that it is still being plotted, but plotting is not over here. We are talking about the plot in the preview. So if I go to right click and say plot, and if I say over here and I say preview, so in the preview, you can see the layers that were green, cyan and red are not shown over here. So when I create a sheet out of this, there will be no preview of this layers because I have turned off the plot options for it. So coming over here, you can see in the layer properties manager, this is don't plot it. Okay, so this layers can be created like let's say you're creating something temporary and you don't want it to be plotted, so you can do this. Generally what people do is that in this zeroth layer only they make this don't plot and they use this default layer for anything they want, just to be temporary and not shown in the sheets. Okay, so for this purpose this can be used. Now of course we have talked about colors. So what are the different types of colors you can access? After that we have line type. Now let's see line types over here. So you have already created geometry, of course the changes can be applied. So coming over here, let's say I pick cyan color. Now you may see over here only one line type is available, continuous solid line. No, we have to load the things. So click on load over here. Now you can see different kinds of lines are there. Now this is being taken into a file that is AutoCAD iso.lin. So this is the file format .lin. So if I click on file, I am available with this line type files. Okay, so you can see AutoCAD line type file is there. So from that I can choose, or you can download any other available from AutoCAD websites or any other website this type of files, and you can choose the line types. The file type is of .lin. Okay, so I'm choosing this, clicking open. I have different kinds of over here, so I have to load this. So I'll just go on selecting which lines I want, and I can just simply load them. I click on OK. Once I click on OK, again you have to choose from here which to apply. Now for the cyan, let's say I want to have zigzag. I'll click on OK, and you can see over here zigzag. Different things, I'll just change it. Red, I'll again change it to, let's say, ISO a long dash dot. Okay, so you can see I've made the changes. So coming over here, you may see now we don't see a lot of changes in this. Okay, it's not visible, but when I zoom in, you can see over here you have the zigzag line. If I zoom in the green one, you can see the dot and dash line. Okay, over here the red also you can see dot and dash line. Okay, you can see over here. Now let's say you don't want this to be so much small, because when I go to my layout it is not showing properly. You can see over here how it is showing the zigzag line. Okay, this is due to a property known as line type scale. Okay, so if you type LTS scale, so click on it. Now it asks you a factor. Okay, enter new line type scale factor. Now this scale factor is applied for the whole model space. So if I give a factor of 2 and give enter, you can see over here this is regenerating the model, and we can see this is now much bolder. Okay, now if I want to change more, so just go to LTS scale and give the line type, let's say 10, and you can see from a long way also now you can see that this is a zigzag line. Layout will be more critical than that, because layout this viewport is different. Okay, line type scales. So coming over here you can see now they are perfect, so accordingly you can decide the line type scale. So if I give LTA scale and I make it, let's say, 0.1, now how much I zoom in more, you can see I'm not able to see the zigzag. Okay, now it is visible, but when I'm zooming out you can see the line is not visible as a zigzag. So this is your line type scale, which controls whatever the line types you are having, how it will be seen. Now you can change this individually as well. Now let's say I want only this zigzag to be seen from far away. Okay, for this layer and nothing else. So you can come over here to properties, and over here you have a line type scale. Okay, now this is a particularly for this two objects only you are having in the properties line type scale, and I can make this particularly for them 10. Give escape. Now over here it is not regenerating, so give REGEN, regenerate, and we can see this. We can more increase it, line type scale, or you can change line types from here as well. So let's say I want this fence line now, and I want to change it to 20. For this particularly you can see it has been changed over here. So this way it works, line type scale. Coming next things, over here we have line weights. Now line weights are the thickness of your lines. So if I come over here, different kinds of line weights are available, you can choose from this. So 2.1 mm, 0.70 mm, 0.60, 0.50, 0.25, 0.005. Okay, so you can see 0.05, 0.09. So you can just click on it and see this red one. Let's say I'm picking the largest one. Okay, and now this is not applied over here. Can you see the thickness is not being applied? Can you tell me why the thickness is not being applied? Does anyone has any ideas?
Line width is off.
Yeah, we have a property known as line weight display. So coming over here, click on turn it on. If I turn it on, now you can see the line weight display. Okay, so line weight has been increased. So you can turn it off and turn it on from here. Depending on that, the visibility is decided, or you can just give LW display, and over here it is on. You can say off, OFF, and give enter, so it has been turned off. Okay, so this way also you can choose the line weight display. After that, we are having a transparency. So of course transparency you can understand. So from 0 to 90 you can put the values, or you can put any value over here, let's say 85. Okay, so you can see over here, this I am going to keep as 40, this as 50. Now you can see over here, now the red one is not at all visible over here. Okay, so its transparency is very high. So 85 is the transparency of it. If I reduce it to 20, and you can observe it is there. Now over here for this also you have transparency display on and off. So if you come over here, transparency display, we have 1. If you make it 0 and give enter, whatever values you change, if I come over here and I change it to 85 now, you'll say that, or 90 let's say, you can see over here no changes you can see, because we are turned off the transparency display. So you have to turn on transparency display, make it 1 over here, give enter, and you can see transparency display has been turned on. Okay, I hope that is clear to everyone. Any questions?
No.
The viewport we'll be seeing when we'll be seeing the layouts and all these things. At that time I'll show you how this layers work in new viewport, freeze, and all these options. Okay, now coming to the next things is how to organize or create your own filters. Now what happens is that, let's say we are creating different plans on this same model space. Okay, let's say you are creating for level 2, level 1, all the plans you are creating over here. Now for that plans you need different kinds of let's say different kinds of layers. So what layers might be there? Let's say first floor you are having a wall, so walls of first floor can have a different layer. Walls of second floor can have a different layer. Okay, so what I will do is, coming over here, when I'm creating layers, I'll just simply delete this layers. I'll select this and I'll just delete it. So you can see the current layer cannot be deleted. Okay, so there are conditions what layers cannot be deleted. The following layers cannot be deleted: layers 0 and depth points, the current layer, layers containing objects, and xref dependent layers. Xref dependent layers we'll see later on. First this three let's see. Now what is that? Already there is objects existing in red layer. Okay, so that is why it cannot be deleted. So if I delete this red object, okay, so there is no objects in the red layer now, but still it cannot be deleted because it is a active layer. Now I'll change active layer to green, and if I select this and give delete option, you can see it is still not being deleted over here, because it thinks that there is still something remaining. So layers containing objects, the current layer, layers 0 and depth points. So of course layers 0 and depth points can never be deleted. Let's look if any object is remaining in this layer. For that, what we'll do is quick select. We want multiple layers, red. Okay, so there are no items selected in this. Let's try why this is not deleting them. It does not contain any objects. It is not a current layer also. Okay, no idea why this is not deleting. If by default we want to delete layers only, so we have another option, that is delete all objects on a layer and purges the layer. Okay, so this option we can use, but I generally don't prefer to use this option. Okay, so lay del is the option for this. So what I can do is simply create something in red layer, drop this down, use layer del, Select this. It is still showing cannot delete current layer. Okay, change it to green. Yeah, and coming over here should delete the layer. What is happening? Let's check. I don't know why this is happening. Might be a bug then, due to that it is not deleting. Let's make this as default and then try. Okay, there is some kind of bug. Actually, you should be able to delete this. Yeah, there is some kind of bug happening. That is why it is not being deleted. Yes, perfect. Yeah, it's done. Okay, so you can see over here, I can directly delete from the layer del. So select this layer delete option, select the object and give space and say, do you wish to continue? Say yes. So permanently your cyan color is gone. Okay, now make 0 as this default layer. First check if it is deleting from here. Don't use that option, but you can see due to some problem it is not showing over here. Of course it is not a current layer also, it does not contain objects also, still it will be showing like that only problems. Okay, what you will do is come over here, select this, select the object, give space and say yes. Your permanently the layer is also deleted and all the objects in that layer is also deleted. So you can use this option always if you
So can
face
you
the
tell
problem.
me,
Yeah.
why to avoid that option?
Yeah, generally what happens is that if you have too many objects created in that, okay, and by mistakenly any other object was also there in the same layer, and what happens is that objects, all the objects that are similar to that layer, so I'll just show you. I'll create a layer again. I'm creating multiple objects over here. Okay, now in this option what happens is that when you go to layers and do this and select one object, okay, sorry, it's in current layer, make it 0 layer. Yeah, now if you come over here, select it and select one object, you can see all the objects will be deleted of the same layer and the complete layer is also deleted. Okay, so that is why we try to avoid it. If I say yes, you can see the layer is also gone and all the objects that were in that layer are also gone. So by mistakenly most of the people may do other things, so that is why we just try to avoid it. Okay, coming back.
Okay, but we delete the layer from that layer properties option. The same thing will happen, no?
No, from the layer properties option, you are not able to delete unless and until there is no thing existing over there. Okay, so when I select this and say delete, the first thing is that it should not be a current layer, and the second point over here, layers containing objects. So if this layer is containing objects, you can see over here this is containing object. So I'll have to change this to white layer, and now if I try, it might be deleted. Can you see?
Okay. Okay.
So there are certain conditions when you're doing from there, but there is no condition when you're doing from ladle. There is only one condition in ladle, that is it should not be a current layer. That's it. So when you're going to satisfy different conditions, of course you'll be checking once again, right? Which objects are there and which objects are not there. So that is why I always prefer
Okay.
deleting
Okay.
from here.
Okay.
Yeah. Now coming over here, as I said that different kinds of layers we'll be creating, let's say for the first floor. Okay, so just for timing I'll just say we'll give f dot for the first floor. I'll give that first floor wall, let's say first floor doors. So I'm giving initials like f dot. Okay, so first floor, let's say windows. Okay, whatever things might be there on the first floor, I've created f dot f dot. Now for the second floor might be that you create s dot. Okay, so s dot wall. I'm just giving an example. You can use anything. It is not done compulsion, and there is no rule also that this thing should be used. Different companies use different methodologies or different naming schemes for the layers. So this is what I created. Now there can be thousand number of layers. Okay, it is not an like this a simple one. When you are creating plans, there are too many layers you have to create. So just to give you an example, just open a file. Just 1 second, it's taking time. Let's see the number of layers. Okay, you can see in this drawing how many number of layers are there, containing each and everything differently. Okay, so this many number of layers are there, and to have the filtering of it and all those things, for that we have different kinds of option that we are going to see. So like I gave a simple example over here in this figure. So let's say f doors, f dot wall, f dot windows, s dot doors, s dot wall, s dot windows. Now if you want to group them separately, so let's say I want to group first floors separately, second floors separately over here. So for that you have a new filter properties option. So you can see new property filter, click on this, you get this property filters. Now you can have anything common. Okay, anything common can be there, might be the color, might be the lock. Okay, all the layers that are locked commonly, all the layers that are freeze together, all the layers that are having line type same or line weight same, you can use any property from here. Okay, so right now I'm using the name property. Okay, so all the namings that is having f dot at the start, which says first floor for me. So if I am giving f dot, okay, immediately can you see only that are listed below, all others are gone as soon as I gave over here f dot. If I give s dot, just observe. So this is filtering of layers. There might be, let's say, many layers that you create for your project. So 50 to 60 layers you might be creating, but you want to have separation of them, filtering of them. So you can come over here. Now I can see this is my second floor. So I can see second floor layers. Okay, I have type over here second floor layers, and I'll click on OK. So now you can see I have an option or a filter created over here which says second floor layers. So we are having all used layers. Inside that I am having separately second floor layers. If I want to have for the first floor layers, to come over here, click on filter, and over here I'll say first floor layers. And in this naming I'll say f dot, that is the initial. Okay, wherever I find the initial f dot, that layer should be selected. I'll click on OK. Now you can see first floor layers, second floor layers. These are the options we are having over here. Now let's say if you want to create a layer filter by having unique property like all the colors that are red. So for the doors, let's say I'm going to make red color only. So second floor also I am having this red color. Okay, so the number is 10 and 10. Now this can be a common property. So when I make a filter of it, I can say the doors. Okay, all the doors should be visible to me in that layer. So coming over here, no use of name, we don't want name, we want color. So come over here and pick the color that is of number 10. Click on OK. Now you can see first floor doors, second floor doors, like this third floor, second, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. I can have all the doors together by just the red color because I have given a common color to them. Click on OK, and you can see a doors filter is created.
Sir, what is the use of plot, sir?
Yes. Can you repeat the question?
Sir, what is the use of plot?
Use of plot.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is what I told at the start only, that if you don't want to plot this layer, you don't want to show in your output, that might be your sheets or PDF, you don't want to show that layer. For that, you can just turn it off. So if you turn it off, it will be not seen. Uh,
Okay, sir.
yeah. So this is one way to create filters. Second way is creating a normal filters. So you can see over here, I can see new group filter. So I gave over here new group filter, and that I say Windows, and I can do this manually. Now over here this was happening automatically using the properties. Now I go to Windows, and you can see over here I'll just select Windows layers, and I'll just drag them inside Windows, and this is creation of filter manually. Okay, grouping of the layers, that is your filters, nothing else. So I've grouped all the windows under one layer, one group. Okay, all the door layer under one group, all the first floor layers under one group, second floor layers under one group. I hope this is clear. Any questions in this?
No, sir.
The last thing remaining in layers is how to export the layers. So over here we have layer state managers. So let's say I have created this layers, and these layers are going to be used again and again in different projects. Okay, your a company might be there which does not change its layer patterns, they want by the same names, so they want to use it again. So over here we have the option of layer states manager. Over here say new, give the name, let's say I give name as Phoenix. You can add your own description, say okay. Now this has been done, and I will say export. Now the file format of this is .las. Okay, layers. I'll save it on desktop right now. So Phoenix .las. This is the file format. I've saved it. I'll close it, and I can just go to another project. Let's say in this project I want to import that layers. Okay, structure L1 is there, or you want to have a new project only directly, and inside that you want to have the layers. So go to layer properties, go to layer properties manager, that is layer states manager, sorry, and select over here import option. Now I'll go to desktop and choose for the file. Now it is not showing over here the file because the file format is .las. So click on it, select the file Phoenix, click on open, restore states. Can you see all the layers? Okay, f dos, f dot wall, f dot windows, s dos, s dot wall, s dot windows. Okay, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Now there is one condition in this. Okay, the one problem is that when you are making layer properties manager, you might be giving different line types over here. Okay, so I'm giving, let's say, fence circle. Okay, over here I'm giving dash dot. I'm giving different types of lines. Okay, zigzag and all this. Now the same line type should be loaded first into the new where you are going to import it, because let's say I save this again now. Okay, what I will do is go to layer states manager. I have this, I'll say export. First I'll update this, because we have made the changes. So this has been updated. Click on export desktop, the same file Phoenix, save, yes, close it. Now let's say I open a new project. Now in this project, just observe what happens. I'll go to layer properties manager. I have to import Phoenix file, open. Can you see it says restore could not restore all line types. Click on OK, restore states, and you can see the line types are not restored. This should not happen, so that what you have to do is you have to load all the file types before only, line types before only. So I'm selecting this to this. Okay, all line types are loaded first only. Click on OK. Now what I will do is again I will import this same file. I'll say replace and close. Still it is not loading the line types. Let's see. Update it, yes, and or I'll just select this and delete it. I'll click on import Phoenix, open, restore states, and you can see all the line types we have got it in the new project. So you have to remember to load all the line types first, then only click on import option. Okay, so that's it about your list. Tomorrow we'll see what is properties, override properties of this, and we'll move forward with, let's say, hatch and all the other things. Okay, any questions or any doubts? Okay, let me take the attendance. Divya,
Yes, sir.
Ajay,
Yes, sir.
Samir,
Yes, sir.
Pawan,
Yes, sir.
Asif,
Yes, sir.
Nawaz,
Yes, sir.
Nivedita,
Yes, sir.
Shubham,
Yes, sir.
Kiteshwari,
Present.
Aisha,
Present.
Akash, Meenu, Riaz, Fahad,
Yes, sir.
Soleha, Soumya Devi, Soumya Devi is present, I think. Okay. Yeah. One more. I had a request that if some of you people have paid a token amount as a fee, so just check with the finance department and check what is your fee status and please pay it. Okay. I'll make someone wait for the individual call. Just give me a 1 second.